Natasha Jonas, just the other side of the 12:30 bulletin there. Sam is alongside me, of course, and alongside us is Spencer Oliver. We've been talking about female fighters. You know, how likely is it that we're going to see female boxing, which is very much on the rise, going from 2-minute rounds to 3-minute rounds? And top trainer Joe Gallagher has called in and wants to get involved in the debate. Joe, always good to hear from you. Where do you stand on this one?
Well, listen, I'm in the middle of it with Natasha now with a fight with Michaela Mayer. We were really surprised at the press conference when Michaela started talking about the 3 minutes. It's a duration that Natasha has always wanted to fight for a while, and the 12 3-minute rounds. And when Michaela brought it to the table, we were music to our ears. But the trouble with everything with this, like everything, and it comes down to, you've got to look at it, it's 10 2-minute rounds, that's 20 minutes work. Now we're doing it at 12 threes, that's 36 minutes work. And like I said to Natasha, you're going from 3 sets at tennis with the women to 5 sets with men. And like they've always campaigned for years of the equality in the pay. And that's what won't happen. Amanda Serrano, she's done fantastically well. She's got the backing of Jake Paul. She's had $1 million paydays, and she can make them decisions and give belts up because of her financial security, which is a bit different. Natasha and Michaela Mayer, if you want to make that 12 threes, then it's a totally different negotiation, and they won't pay that, and I'm assuming they won't pay that to have that fight, and I think that's where the difference is, really.
Who won't pay that? Who won't pay that, Joe? The promoters?
Well, yeah, obviously it's the promoters that promote the show, or the broadcasters, or whatever, as you've seen with Serrano. And like Natasha said to me in the gym the other day, Serrano, brilliant girls, let's get it on, 12 threes, brilliant. And like Natasha says, yeah, that's great, Amanda, but you got $1 million plus for your 12 threes. Do you know what I mean? Not even getting a fraction of that for Michaela Mayer. Michaela Mayer, as you boys know there in the studio, she's well known over here. She's come over here. She's a good fighter. She's done good punditry work, and she's a name. Natasha is the British Fighter of the Year last year, not men's or women's, but the British Boxing Board of Control thing. Yeah, them two girls ain't earning anything what your Serranos have earned past, and then they want to talk about 12 threes. Well,
great point. Joe, it's a great point you make.
Joe, it's interesting to get your take, actually, going from the 2-minute rounds to the 3-minute rounds. I don't know if you listened to the debate that we had before that, but I was talking about, the duty of care towards the women going into 3-minute rounds. For anyone that doesn't know 2s and 3s in a boxing ring, 2 totally different sports. That last minute, is where a lot of the damage can be done, etc. And I'm saying if it's not broke, why fix it? I mean, what's your take on going from 2 minutes to 3 minutes, and also from 10 rounds to 12 rounds? Do you think that's a thing that can be done?
I've always been an advocate. We've just seen Chantal Cameron, Katie Taylor. We've seen Katie Serrano. Natasha's been in some brilliant fights with Katie and so forth. But I've always thought, let's make the progression to 12 twos, and let's see how we go with the 2 extra rounds for 12 2 minutes, because then we've seen, look at Chantal, Katie the other week, they were both shattered after 10 rounds. And when you've got all the belts and all the marbles on the line like that, maybe them type of contests should be 12 2-minute rounds for your world titles. And then we'll then come back and revisit it for the 3 minutes after that. But like Natasha and Michaela Mayer, their styles, like Michaela said, she feels she's more suited to pros. Everyone that comes to our gymnasium and watches Natasha Jonas spar is like, wow, she's a proper pro now, proper 3 minutes, cuts the ring off. But I agree, there's girls out there that aren't physically fit enough or have the boxing knowledge yet to do 12 3-minute rounds that could get hurt. And you've seen fighters, like I just said to you, girls that are absolutely shattered after 10 twos when it's like a 100, 200-metre sprint compared to a 1,500-metre race. Do you understand?
So my concern was, Joe, going into those 3-minute rounds, like obviously the bone density from a woman to a man is different, the skull structure is different, the male skull is thicker than the women's, and we're talking about, the women don't punch as hard as the men, but the volume of punches are still as high. And I'm just saying, for duty of care for the women, and I understand there's an argument there for this, but I'm just saying over the 3 minutes rounds, there is more likelihood that women will get injured, and that could possibly put the sport of women's boxing into disrepute.
I understand that, Spencer, but at the same time, ladies' football isn't being told to only play 45 minutes because they head the ball the same as men.
Understood.
Yeah, I mean, Joe, the WBC cite health and safety concerns about 3-minute rounds. What would you say to that? That's a strong argument.
That what, sorry?
The WBC cite health and safety concerns about female boxers going 3 minutes.
And I think that is down to the bone structure of a woman, female to a male. And I do totally understand it.
So the WBC stance here is a strong one, and it's one that's got to be respected, surely.
Yeah, of course it is. Listen, it's always women. It's always the health and the welfare of the fighter first and foremost. All the time, but at the same time, they're their own individuals, but they should be given a choice whether they want to or not. When we're talking about moving forward and wanting to play football, boxing, or whatever, it's their choice, their individual needs. The board and the medicals, that we can do the best that we can. But in anything, whether they have the best neurologist involved and everything else, you always got to run the risk that there will be a fatality. I tell you what, there'll be a bigger fatality, injuries in the ring with people drug taking and drug cheating than there is what there will be through this at the moment with duration of rounds.
Well said, Joe, and I totally agree with that, mate. That's something that really doesn't, that's a whole different subject, but something that really does need cleaning up because, you know, the sport is in a terrible place with that right now. But interesting to get your take on that, Joe, and with, you know, with the 2 minute, 3 minute rounds, because it is a debate and it's going to be an ongoing one.
Joey, I really appreciate your time, mate. Thanks for coming on and joining us this lunchtime on talkSPORT. Joe Gallagher, top fight trainer, joining us live.